Well, here we are again, out on the loch. I've been out since about 7:30, 7:45. It is the 20 to 11 just now. Nothing. But in fact there hasn't been a fish caught off the loch for about, it's been near on 2 weeks. With this east wind blowing up the loch for about the same length of time, and the fish just don't like it. And that, and a shortage of fish hasn't helped much. But I was out the day before yesterday and I saw a few salmon leaping around between here and the university building, which is up ahead of us. So I couldn't get out yesterday because I had some taxi work to do. So today's the first chance I had to get out. So I thought, get out here, give it a blast. It's not the best of conditions, as I say, with this east wind. Cold, cold. But if you're not out here, you'll not get one. So I thought, just better than sitting around doing nothing, get out here. It's supposed to be out tomorrow and Saturday with guests, but I think tomorrow will be alright. I think Saturday the weather's looking pretty grim. Strong winds blowing straight up the loch. And my insurance limits me to the wind speeds that I can take guests out, and I can come out on my own, but what I'm able to take guests out in is limited, so I just need to be very careful. But yeah, we'll just give it a wee go. Saw a black-throated diver about 10 minutes ago, right at the head of the loch. The first time I've seen one this year. Always nice to see them. Very poor at raising a family they are. Their legs, so body-wise they're about this, but their legs are right at their tail end, which means they can't really walk, they just kind of push themselves. Swan just flew right over the top of us. You'll have heard the wing beat as it flew over there. Yeah, the divers, so their legs are right at the tail end of their body, so they can't really walk on land. Their legs are right at the back of their body to power them when they're diving. So they nest right close to the water's edge, and if you then get a lot of rain that pushes the loch up, their nest, eggs, gets completely washed out. So they're not very successful at rearing youngsters. Some places they put rafts in the water to try and encourage them to nest on the rafts, which can work. The other issue that here is that Highland Safaris, a company that are based way down beyond Kenmore, they've been running trips out on the loch on a rib, quite a big thing. It goes quite fast. And although they say safaris, I mean, at the speeds that they do, they'll not see much of the wildlife. But anyway, the wake that comes off that boat is enough to wash the divers' nests out. So that's something else that's a bit of a worry, a bit of a concern. Hopefully they will be very careful how they're operating, and slow themselves down. But that remains to be seen. It's a very popular trip with the tourists. It's beautiful out here, but I just wish they would limit their speed. And these, the scourge of every fisherman, you see them flying away there, cormorants. A seabird that has come into the loch They've been in for a long time now. They come into the fresh water because of the lack of food at sea, and when they come in, they're feeding on trout, and what's worse is they feed on the juvenile salmon. So when the smolts are heading back to sea, these birds are intercepting them in huge numbers. Between them and Cruachan, there's another seabird that's come into the freshwater water because of the lack of food. They've devastated the par and smolt. In fact, on the River Docker, oh sorry, the River Loch Tay, where my boat is kept, you used to see huge shoals of minnows, and you would see small par and trout splashing about. You never see any now. They've been absolutely devastated by the Cruachan, which is really sad because they're not allowed to be controlled, unfortunately, which is outrageous really. I mean, it's a non-native species coming into fresh water and damaging the wild fish stocks, and nobody's allowed to do anything about it. I mean, they've probably been pushed in here because of the overfishing of some species of fish, including sand eels, which a lot of the seabirds eat. And the sand eels are hoovered up, and they're hundreds of thousands of tons. And amongst other things, they're ground up to make pellets for farmed salmon. Now it takes 10 tons of other fish ground up to make 1 ton of farmed salmon, which isn't sustainable. And that's one of the reasons they say that you're losing your big colonies of seabirds, you know, like your gannets and such. Puffins, they dine on sand eels all the time, and the numbers of the sand eels have been absolutely devastated. Another thing that they use them for is biomass fuel, which I find absolutely abhorrent, and I don't know what governments are thinking of, why they're allowing these things to happen. It's just another factor in the decline of the Atlantic salmon. You find, you know, probably 95% of all salmon caught on rod and line, they're now, you know, netted, unhooked, held in the water until they recover, and then released. It's very rare to hear of somebody actually killing a wild fish, which there's no need for anyway. I don't know why anybody would do it when they know that the stocks are so low. I know there are people that do it, and they try and come up with excuses as to why they should be allowed to do it, but personally I can't see any reason. So anyway, I'm going to be quiet now and just let you guys take in the scenery, which is absolutely beautiful. I will switch this off eventually, and I won't switch it on unless I actually hook a fish. So you enjoy the views, folks.